Hello, everybody. My name is Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe from TBR Solution Sports Program. This is a special program which has been, motivated by the press conference that one attended last night after the post-match press conference of Mamelodi Sundowns versus Ahly. It was a very hot press conference. Allegations were made, although not clear allegations, but you could sense that there is a serious tension going on around. But if you listen to the conference very closely, the tension is largely between Kaizer Chiefs and Mamelodi Sundowns. Then it manifests itself to a number of things. I'm sure you'll agree with me if you're making follow-up on the development of what is happening between the two teams. We heard when Coach Pitso Mosimane, whom I think is one of the best coach, in fact, I think he's the best coach in Africa. He has done well, so I highly respect him. Not only Coach Pitso, the trio at Mamelodi Sundowns, they are very good. Moreover, if you listen to them, the trio from Mamelodi Sundowns, the manner they analyze the game, it's very impressive. Whatever that they say, in most cases, you could see after the game that they were analyzing exactly what happened, even if, they give you post-match about their opponents, where did they identify the problems. So that being said, both Mamelodi Sundowns and Ahly are big teams. And remember that Sundowns at some point once said, I think it was Mangoba Mngqithi, if reports are correct, that they are not competing in South Africa anymore. They are competing in the continent. They are competing with teams like Zamalek, Ahly, Esperance, and so on. But now, when I listen to this press conference, what I'm saying, I think there's a tension. We are not being told the truth, but the tension between the two teams, Mamelodi Sundowns and Chief, is intense than meet the eye. At some point, if you remember quite well, Mr. Mtaung was quoted as saying there's a club boss who's jealous of his team, who wants to destroy his team, but he never mentioned that club boss. We don't know. But what we have seen over the years, we've seen players crossing from Chiefs to Sundowns, vice versa. Sundowns, Chiefs to Sundowns, or Sundowns to Chiefs. And then now come this game. When this game came over, Ahly preferred to use Naturena, the village. Like I did a show that, Coach Pitso Mosimane was commending the facilities at the village, which is quite good. That market our country, and then that shows that people like Kaizer Chiefs have put the standard of our football at the highest level. But if you listen to that conference very well, you could hear that Coach Mangoba Mngqithi was a little bit concerned that why Kaizer Chiefs allowed Ahly to use the dressing room, which they, as the local team, whenever they play, they're not allowed to use that dressing room. All right. And then now it feels that what was happening here, was it a matter of, either a collusion between Ahly and Kaizer Chiefs to ensure that Sundowns doesn't progress or Sundowns doesn't do well. I'm sure you heard the conference. I played it earlier on our YouTube channel, and then you could hear yourself. It's not me. You could hear as those people were talking. Then along the line, we know that there is a tension, serious tension between Mr. Msimane and the management of Mamelodi Sundowns. Although Mr. Msimane continued to say there is one guy. We don't know who's this guy, but he alleges that there is one guy who's behind everything that is happening in his life. Remember when they were playing Ahly, when they were playing Sundowns in Pretoria, there were fans organized, according to Mr. Msimane, to protest against him. They insulted him, they insulted his parents, his mother, and his family. And it was a point of concern. And then even in this press conference, said there were people insulting him. And then he said even the game prior to the game that was played yesterday, and then he promised that he will reveal everything, either in his book or a documentary, what is happening. But if you look very closely, I think the tension is highly between Kaizer Chiefs and Mamelodi Sundowns. So that's my reading. Remember, we are journalists, we are looking there, and then our work is to educate. Well, by doing this, I'm not trying to create enemies, but I'm saying what I see. So I'm sure you also see what you see, and you can also make your comments. Yeah, so I normally do this special shows, picking up on issues that that needs to be looked very closely. So I don't know what's your take. I'm sure you also have noticed that there is a tension between Kaizer Chiefs and Mamelodi Sundowns, and then this tension, it's deeper than meet the eye. So we don't know, and you know very well, as much as I know, that Kaizer Chiefs fans, they don't like Sundowns. We know that, and Sundowns fans, they like when they beat Kaizer Chiefs. The rivalry in the past used to be between Chiefs and Pirates. It's still there. It's an old rivalry, but the one between Chiefs and Sundowns, it's very intense. So those are some of the reasons that makes me to say the conference, the last night conference, was pointing us towards the direction of the tension between Kaizer Chiefs and Mamelodi Sundowns. Well, Mr. Msimane, as I said, he also has a problem with whoever is there in the management of Sundowns. So I don't know whether that could be some of the reasons that made him to decide to use Naturena, because according to Coach Mangoba Mneti, Chiefs was inspiteful. Those are not my words. Those are the words of the coach Mangoba Mneti. Well, of course, one would have loved to ask them and then to indicate really. But of course, you know very well, I don't think they will agree to tell us exactly what's happening. I asked at some point, I think in one of the press conferences, I think I was asking Vina Maposa about, is it coincident that some Sundowns players are crossing floor to Chiefs, and then again, the other way around, some players from Chiefs are crossing the floor to Sundowns? It could not be answered. But the press conference of last night, I think, has revealed a lot. So I don't know, what's your take? So you've got your own opinion. I would love to hear what you say. So give us an opinion and tell us what you think. But now let me come here. If that is the case, I would have loved to see the two teams, smoothing the tension between the two, because we need both Kaizer Chiefs and Mamelodi Sundowns as much as we need Morocco Swallows Orlando Pirates. These are our teams. It's football. And then, yeah, so it would have been nice to see our teams putting a united front, to ensure that we dominate in Africa. Remember, this CAF, has been dominated by the team from the north in Africa. So we, on the southern sphere of the continent, we've never done well as far as that is concerned. It started with Orlando Pirates to put us on the map, and then Mamelodi Sundowns followed suit, and then would like to see that trend continue. So as a result, I think it would be wise for the two teams to work hand in glove, rather than, well, they can be rivals when they play locally, but when they play with the opponents outside the country, I expect the two teams, to collaborate. Just like what we saw between Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs, that relationship, which resulted in both teams acquiring same sponsors to maximize and on the exposure and to maximize on the resources that they can get. So I wish sanity can prevail. I wish sanity can prevail, and we can see the two teams working together. Of course, Mamelodi Sundowns is a big team. Of course, Kaizer Chiefs is a big team. They have a very good history. And then we've said a lot about Kaizer Chiefs. So yes, we are seeing the emergence of Mamelodi Sundowns. They are doing quite well. So now let me hear from you. Do you see what I see? I may be wrong. I may be wrong. I'm not naive. I may be wrong. That I see what I want to see. But if you listen to the conference, last night conference, and then you could hear that there's something happening. And if you follow closely the utterances from various quarters, as you make a follow-up on various reports, you'll see that something is brewing. I hope I've made my contribution. I'd love to hear your contribution. So, and then I'll say, before I say goodbye, and then I just want to listen to this. Thank you for this topic. Hi, everybody. My name is the Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe from the Big R, or TBR Solution. One of the companies owned by TBR Solution is the Big R Financial Services, an authorized financial service provider. I'm sure you have noticed that the past few months or so, we've seen a lot of deaths, and those deaths are attributed to mental illness. Mental illness can be caused by anything, can be caused by stress, depression, and stress and depression can be caused by a number of things: lack of finances, or financial problem, or social problem, or marital problem. So they cause all those problems. We in the financial sector, we see it almost now and again, because we work with various organizations like GPF, Independent Fund Organization. But while I'm still there, let me stress, we don't have a formal relationship with GPF, but we work with them because most of our people are from there. Now, working with those people, you know very well that people who are working for the government, they're expected to retire at the age of 60 and above, right? If you retire earlier than that, then you are being penalized by GPF. And sometimes people say, no, I need money. So what do? They resign. They say, no, let the money go to my bank account. Once you do that, you are tax heavy. So you need to bear that in mind, okay? But now, let's say for argument's sake, you are 55 as we speak and above, and you are contemplating of either resigning or going on pension in the next 3 months or so. Just drop us a WhatsApp so that we help you to expedite for your payment. Because according to the GPF rules and pension fund law, once a client or a member receive an SMS that they have received your forms, that means they have 60 days to complete the process. And mind you, the 60 days, it's a maximum. It doesn't mean it has to take 60 days. It's a maximum. Now, sometimes we see people, they don't get their money for 2 to 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, even more, or a year or so. And then there, the problem could emanate either from the GPF side, employer side, a member himself. So what we do, we try to expedite that process by making sure that we understand the workings of GPF. If it's a member, we help him to do the right thing. The same with GPF, the same with employer organization. Now, remember, as I have already said, that with GPF, it's 60 and above. Now, and then we say if you're 55 or more, you can contact us. And another good element is this, with the fund that we are working with. There is a whole lot of flexibility. You can decide how much you earn. That's how flexible it is. And if, let's say, you pass on, you and your spouse, you can nominate anyone. You are not limited to your immediate family, like your biological children or an officially adopted children. Remember, even your children, they can benefit as long as they're 22 and below. But with us, it doesn't matter. They can be above 22, they can be your elders, or they will still benefit because you nominated them. And then we try by all means that when we take the money from GPF and invest with credible fund organization, we try by all means that you are list text, all right? And then, and even you are not punished because you are not taking the money, because you are taking to another fund. So which means an independent and credible fund. So it means that there's no need to tax you more. So those are some of the advantages that are there. So you need to bear that in mind. And then if you want to know more, just drop us a WhatsApp on our WhatsApp number. Then we'll call you back. You don't have to call us. We'll call you back and see how can we expedite it. I thank you.